Everybody, this is Edmund Lee, and you're going to get the video that I promised you. The promised video, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you just randomly stumbled upon this page, is the video of a legacy talk that I did. That it was emotional for me, but it was powerful. I give away all these legacy lessons that you can use. And a lot of people say, "Well, Ed, I don't have kids. How can I do? How can I be about legacy?" Look, when I gave this speech, I didn't even want kids. Okay, joke's on me because I got a little guy on the way and I'm so excited about it, but it was because I had conversation and it was limiting my thoughts and all that stuff. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now. Bottom line is, it doesn't matter if you have kids or not. Matter of fact, I know a lot of people that don't have kids that are very powerful in the world of legacy, because all they want to do is touch lives. See, legacy is about the people's lives that you touched. And that could be one person, that could be a million people. It doesn't matter. It could be your children or somebody's children. Everybody's on this planet is somebody's child, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is a lot of people say, well, Ed, I don't have a lot of money. Well, most people in the world don't have a lot of money. Okay, the gig's up. All right, let's just say this. But everybody leaves a legacy, but everybody doesn't design it. My goal is to give you some tools and strategies to help you design your legacy. And if you don't have money, it's even more imperative for you to actually have some structures in place so that you can shift that if that's something you want to shift. And I'll tell you this, I'm not a guru, all right? I've been studying legacy creation for the past 15, 20 years. The video that you're watching is about 5 to 6 years old, actually, at this point. But the principles are super old. I've been studying this work from around the world. I have been giving talks and then I've been sharing and educating people on what I know. But I'll tell you this, I'm a product of a family that's 7 generations of my name. Okay, I'm the fourth. My son is the fifth, but the first or the seventh was at Edmund Lee. Then it was Jesse Lee. Then it was Edmund Lee the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and then the fifth. So that's five. Then Jesse, I don't know what happened, why Jesse didn't get the name, but Edmund Lee before that, you got my point. So I'm really big on legacy, really big on legacy creation. And so you now get to watch this video. This video was from an event that I actually did, and we hosted our event in Miami. It was one of our best events, and it was about $1,000 to attend this event. So people paid a nice price, room, board, etc., to watch not only my video, but a bunch of other speakers. But this is for anyone that wants to leave an impact and live an impactful life. It's not just about leaving it behind, it's how you live. This can get emotional, but this is great if you're watching it alone, or you're watching it with family, or watching it with whoever. This will be awesome for you. Now, also, let me just tell you this. You can opt in right now. You can put in your email, and you'll get that video. But I'm going to give you a bonus little tip right now because you're on this video and you're still here for whatever reason. You can stop now if you want. Click that video. Click that link and start watching that video. But I'm going to give you a bonus value session right now that is not in this video. Okay? So, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to slide my... Hopefully that wasn't too loud for you. Hopefully you can see that. If not, I'm going to talk it out anyway. But what that is just a wheel. It's called the Legacy Freedom Wheel. Now, I didn't create this. I just branded it as a Legacy Freedom Wheel because several people have talked about this concept. It's when we have all these three things in alignment where we really just feel like fulfilled. So I'm going to talk to you from a brain standpoint, how the human brain looks at fulfillment and how and why so many people are not fulfilled even if they make a bunch of money on a scientific level. Okay, so let me just tell you, I started learning this scientific stuff when I started selling drugs. All right, yeah, I sold drugs back in the day. Anyway, okay, yeah, I know you're stuck on that. I sold drugs for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. Okay, no, I'm not the bad guy. I sold, but I was ahead of my time. I did. I'm not gonna talk about that. CBD. Never mind. We're not talking about that. What I'm talking about is when I worked for Pfizer and I was able to sell psychiatric drugs to the doctors. I started learning about the human brain. I was blown away about the chemicals in our brain, what they do, how they control us. We think we control everything. No, these chemicals control everything in our brain. Now we can work on those and program those, but that's the key to all fulfillment, all success, all emotion. Now, how do we understand that in a place that we can make it make sense in the real world? So let's start with the three buckets that I like to say from the legacy component, what everybody kind of wants. Everybody wants some type of fulfillment in the world, right? They want to be fulfilled. They want to feel joy, peace. These are things that money cannot necessarily buy. The feeling and emotion of being in contribution to the world, to their family, to their friends, to their circle of influence, to people they've never met. That's the key component. And notice I started there. A lot of videos, a lot of people start with money, etc. But the money is the tool to get that, because if you get a bunch of money but you're not doing something that brings you fulfillment, you're going to feel empty. Okay? If you're bringing in things with fulfillment but you're not making any money, you're going to starve to death, right? Or if you don't starve to death, you're going to scrape by and not have enough time and resources to really put the message out the way you want to. You can still make an impact, don't get me wrong, but that money just gives you a tool to do a little bit more, and it gives you a chance to buy the biggest asset, which is time. Money can buy time, right? Because it can buy you time freedom away from having to work or having to work as much, or having to be from your away from your family for things that matter, like games, recitals, funerals, weddings, receptions, graduations, being by people's bedside, those types of things. Being able to date, being able to spend time with your loved ones, being able to spend time with your wife or your future wife or husband or children. I tell people all the time, children spell love, Time, right? And that's really, really, really why this whole concept of legacy, it has three components. So it's time freedom, because we want the time to spend with everybody, right? And do what we want to do, what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it, where we want to do it, why we want to do it, and when we want to do it, and who we want to do it with. Sound like I was twisted, right? If you don't know, never mind. The other part is we want financial freedom, right? We want the money. We want to be able to at least pay the bills. I know everybody doesn't want the Bugattis and the Lamborghinis. I don't even want that. I used to. I mean, I'll take a Tesla. Don't get me wrong. I'll take that because it's an asset, right? I tell my wife we'll save money on gas. But the but the other thing is we want time. I mean, really, most people just want to just not have to be stressed at the end of the month. That's what most people want. They don't want that feeling of how we're going to make ends meet. I don't know when you're watching this, but I'm actually recording this during the time of the COVID, and a lot of people realize that, hey, we don't make enough, or we don't have our assets to make enough to really survive longer than a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And people don't want that feeling, right? And then there's other things. You might want toys and gifts, etc., but that money can buy those things, but we want to make sure that we have the time freedom to spend time with individuals, and we want to make sure we're being fulfilled all in the process. So that's the trifecta of that. Now, let's say we have those things going. We have to still talk about the chemicals in the brain that are functioning, that are making it. Now, if you're getting bored, if you don't like all the nerdy stuff, just opt in below, watch the actual video of the video that I promised that you would get. You're also going to get some cool emails on legacy, some stories, something I'm going to share, some stories from other people, stories from my travels, any links to maybe some cool podcasts, things, some tips, all types of stuff, websites that I like, anything. You're going to get that. And let me tell you something before we go any further. I don't like to email a bunch of times. Why? Let me tell you the honest truth. Because it costs money. Okay, that's a part of it. Like, if people don't open it, I will just kick you off of the email, because I got to spend money to email you. And if you don't like that, then I don't want to email you, right? And also, I don't like, the other reason is I don't like to be spammed and bothered a lot. And maybe that's my own thing. Most marketers tell me, Ed, you got to do it this way. I don't want to, okay? I want my peace of mind. I want to send cool emails that are fun, engaging, giving you value, inspiring you, educating you, things like that. If my emails suck, then I suck, and I don't want that to happen. I want you to be excited when you see an email from me, because it's popping, right? Popping means it's going to be good value, good educational content, and awesome. All right, so let's go into the EDSO, right? No, this is not Ed because it's my name. This is actually just a thing called EDSO. I'm not going to dive all the way into it. I do that in my Legacy Challenge, where I talk about, like, really dive into this, but I'm going to make it plain and make it clear, and you can actually Google this if you want after you opt in, and you get your opt in means you put your email in. Okay, when you put your email in, watch the video. This is something I think will be awesome for you. So let me get straight to it. Yes, do I have an offering for my Legacy Challenge? Yeah, I certainly do. You'll be getting emailed an invitation to something about that, and it'll probably come after you watch the video or somewhere in there. I like to let you know what's coming, because yes, I do this for a living. So you will get offered to be a part of that. You're not going to get that immediately, but you will get that at some point in time. And I think it'll be awesome for you, because I think it changes people's lives. And if you're watching me for 9 minutes already, I think you already think I probably could give you a little bit of value. But let me prove it to you. So, EDSO, write this down, take a pen and pad, or just join the challenge later and you'll get it again. But the EDSO is this. these are the chemical things inside of your brain. So first of all, I want to talk about endorphins. Okay. So what are endorphins? Um, I'm gonna give you just a high level concept of this stuff. Like I said, you can Google it, but these are things that actually mask pain from you. Okay, so if you ever like really just laughed a very long time and you started hurting your stomach, well, that's because it's actually painful, but the endorphins are kicked in to mask that pain. But when they start running out or they start getting low, whatever, then your stomach starts hurting. That's where that comes from, and it's something that's a self, what we call a self-preservation chemical, right? So you cannot get fulfillment from just endorphins alone. So that's why people can cry themselves to sleep or cry themselves while they're crying. They can smile the tears of a clown, all this type of stuff. You can really be in a space where you're not really fulfilled, even though you're masking that pain. That's where the clown wears the biggest mask a lot of times, right? So the second thing, and I want to get into other chemicals. I can go into endorphins a lot more. It's really like a physical for the most part, but it helps mask a lot of different types of pain. But the second thing is the D. The D is the dope, right? A lot of people say dope now. We used to say it back in the day. Now it's resurfaced. Yes, I'm showing my age. But dope comes from the word dopamine. So you might have heard this word before, but what dopamine is, it's another self-fulfilling principle, and it's a very, very powerful one. It can be dangerous if you don't get a hold of it. So dopamine, it makes you feel good. What triggers dopamine? Anything in a category like self-fulfillment, not self-fulfillment, self-success, like achieving more money, pay raise, bigger job, bigger house, more sex, gambling, addictions, the dope itself. That's where the word dope comes from. Drugs, addicts, addictions. That's why these things are not fulfilling and long lasting. That's why gamblers continue to gamble again. Addicts continue to do the same behaviors because they're chasing that spike. Now you may say, "Oh, I'm not an addict. I don't. That doesn't apply to me." Well, dopamine can be in the form of being addicted to. Let me tell you like this: you might be addicted to something you don't realize. If you wake up in the morning and somebody wakes up in the morning and grabs a shot of Jack Daniels, the first thing before they open their eyes barely, or before they brush their teeth, or before they, do anything what they're supposed to do for the day, that might be an addict, right? Well, what if you wake up and check your phone first thing with anticipation of did I miss something? You went to sleep at 4 a.m. and you woke up at 7 a.m. and you want to know did you miss something? Or you're waiting for that little notification. I don't care if it's on whatever social media. Maybe, just maybe, you might be looking for a dopamine rush. Okay? Just maybe. Google it for yourself. Again, I'd go deeper in this in the challenge. But the dopamine is very dangerous because it can make you seek after things that will never give you fulfillment, like more money, like the bigger house, like keeping up with the Joneses, because you'll never be fulfilled. You wouldn't have to keep up with something if you're fulfilling on that. And the thing is that chemical cannot produce fulfillment. It's kind of like if I wanted my arm to, or like my heart to be my kidney. Like I'm wondering why my kidney is not pumping blood like my heart. It's not made to do that, right? And so dopamine is not made to have you fulfilled. So that's why you can have all those things I just mentioned and still not be fulfilled. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem that most people face, and they don't even realize it. So if you take just what I told you, and I don't even tell you the other two, you could tell that to your children and set them up for success and not failure. Or set that, or tell them to your circle of influence, your friends, your mother, your brother, your cousin, your community service, whatever you do. You could just tell them those two things. Now they would still be empty because they're like, okay, well, what does give me fulfillment? Where do I get that from? Well, simple. Simple, but not easy. Okay? Actually, it is in a way. Serotonin, the S in the cell, is where you start down this path. Now, that can be tricky too. So, I'm going to talk about serotonin and I'm going to tell you what the O is. It's the last one. The last one. So, serotonin. So, what is serotonin? That's another feel good. These two are in the fulfillment, and these actually require other people. Okay, so these are not the selfish fulfillment chemicals. These are more of a community base, and this is where you start getting into true fulfillment. So serotonin is that feeling you feel when you're actually doing good, when you're accomplishing something, when you're proud of yourself, but not in the state of pride, but it's more like when you graduate high school. You know that feeling, you watch somebody get that diploma and they shake their hand and they're feeling good about themselves, they're feeling really fulfilled. Guess what? Serotonin is contagious. So if you're watching your child walk, you're looking like, man, that's my boy. That's my girl. that serotonin level is rising. If you see somebody helping a elderly woman across the street or something like that, that actually brings that person's serotonin up and the other person's. Now get this, a lot of people don't like to receive. So guess what? You're blocking the flow of fulfillment for that person and even for yourself and others that can watch that. And the reason a lot of people don't like to receive, write this down. A lot of times if you feel like it's better to give than receive, which I totally understand the concept. I understand that it's great to be a good steward of money, but also in a way to give and be a philanthropist. I actually preach that. That is in the legacy, is being a philanthropist and being humble and giving. So I'm definitely an advocate for that. However, when you look at it deeper, if you feel that, if you feel like, hey, when you give, do you feel good? You feel good, right? And you normally give to people that are what? In need, right? Or that you feel you want to help. Well, a lot of times it's a subconscious way to some people that it's a position of strength. It's a position of power. It's like if I'm giving that person money, then I'm the one with the power. I'm the one that can help the other person. So if I'm receiving others from others, this is something that happened with me. I'm feeling like, no, I don't want to receive because I feel like that person has power and dominion over me. Now check yourself, but check it out before you respond. Check and see if that happens for you. If you have an issue with receiving, sometimes it might be because you feel like that person might be bigger than you, better than you, more accomplished than you, or for that moment they're more powerful than you, they're more important than you, or they have a little bit of control over you and you just refuse. You don't want that domination. It's not the good domination, not the 50 Shades domination. This is the stuff you don't want, right? Okay. If my wife was in here, she'd be like, you're going too far. But you get my point, right? So if what is it? Really dive into the conversation of why can't you look at receiving as a place of fulfillment? Now, if you do receive well, then great. Are you also good at giving? Because sometimes people give to actually be more fulfilled, and it's a selfish thing because they just want the selfish fulfillment of feeling bigger and better than someone else. Not saying that's you, because you can give from just the spirit of pure giving, and you know those people. You know people that like to give, and you can tell they're giving because they want to feel a certain way that may not be of pure fulfillment. And then you also know the other people. You know your people like grandma and that just want to bake and just want people that just love good food, just want the good food in them in their soul. You know what I'm saying? So that's my point. It's different ways and it happens for different people. And what you want to do is assess yourself and then talk to your circle of influence, talk to your children, talk to your spouse, see what they feel about these things that's going on. Okay, so but the serotonin is about community. It's about helping others and feeling how that feels. Okay, and that's something that you can do. But the most powerful one. Okay, now hold on. Let me say this about serotonin. So the other thing about serotonin is that you have the actual what do we like to call that? We like to call it people can buy serotonin in a way. Okay, and that's the trick. You're buying it, but it's not fulfilled. It's not long lasting. So, for example, let's say you bought a Lamborghini or a drop top or a certain car, and you drove around and you have people get in rides and they ride around with you and they're feeling good and you're feeling good and you're helping them. And the thing is, though, that it's not necessarily attached to you, it's attached to your things. And so you're creating a space where people really do enjoy being around you. They really do feel fulfilled, and you feel fulfilled because you're helping others. You might be buying them a bunch of things. You might be spoiling them, and you're feeling great. But it's also still not true fulfillment to the highest degree. Okay, and sometimes it can be tricky because even in social media, people are getting fulfillment from the likes, from the followers, from the comments. Imagine if you posted 1,000 times, you got 0 likes, 0 comments. Well, the social part of these sites are giving people a sense of serotonin and also gratification in the dopamine area, where a lot of times people don't even want to work anymore. They don't want to work for anything but the social media because they're getting the chemicals they need to survive from a video game, from the actual social media, from things that don't give them that internal fulfillment. So then when they're off the fulfillment, when the camera's down, when they're not getting likes, and they're really spending time with themselves, it's a possibility that they're not getting the last thing, which is oxytocin. So now we're going to dive into the level of oxytocin, what that really is, because that's the big one. Okay, so what is oxytocin? This is the best chemical of them all. This is the one they even call the love chemical sometimes, the cuddle chemical. This is where love comes from. This is the not limerence, but real love. Limerence is that infatuation stage where you just feel like, puppy love, but you can look that up too. But we're talking about love, friendship, bonding, trust, etc. So how do we build that? So when I said the conversation about, doing acts of generosity for others, Oxy is actually found in that too. But what I'm talking about now, to take it even to the next level, is when we're talking about time. Okay, so I talked about time earlier. So if you're not giving time, you're not giving. It doesn't create the same level. It doesn't create that oxytocin, and this is why we have great feelings during the holidays. This is why people love to be around their friends, even if you're not even doing anything special. This is when, I don't know what holidays you might celebrate, but with our culture, we celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas and being together. We want that time to just last forever. My wife puts up Christmas trees on October 1st. Okay, it's really Thanksgiving, but it's before Thanksgiving. But the bottom line is you get the feeling. It's because, and this is very, very powerful in legacy. The person who controls the oxytocin is the one who's going to have the most power in legacy. Usually that's the mother. A lot of people think it's the father. It can be both. It can be the father or the mother. But we have to look at this world in a different way than we used to, which is we just provide, but you don't provide any time. That's why that's why that thing is so powerful with all three of these elements of the legacy um, of the legacy building, that is so powerful. And I know you're just, all this is, remember, you can stop me anytime, you can opt in, you can watch your free video, but I want to over deliver. I want to spend time. I'm giving you my oxy right now. You haven't even opted in. Most people wouldn't do this. You haven't even given me your email. All you're doing is giving me your time. So if you're watching this far, then you're actually learning something. You're somebody who's going to get a lot of value out of this, because you're giving me your most valuable asset, and I'm giving it to you as well as I'm creating this. And this is an exchange of time. This is building trust. This is bonding. I'm building with you and you're building with me at the same time, and we never even met, or we might have met. Who knows? But what I want to tell you is, even oxys, when you have newborns, like this little guy that's coming. Where's this thing? Like, you probably got a shot of oxy right now, right? And my wife is going to get one when he's born. I don't know when you're watching this. He might be here. He'll be in my videos. He's going to be my little model in my movie, in my legacy videos. And I'm going to teach you that too. I'm hiring my son at age 2 years old. In the course, I talk about everything you should do, the 6 things you should do when you have a child, or anybody you know has a child. And they're not typical things. One of them is hiring them. Yes, literally hiring them. So many tax advantages, so many benefits, job, history, credit, all types of things, right? Getting sidetracked, I digress. But what I'm saying is this: when a woman has a child, that oxy, that feeling, that love, they need that oxytocin. They've actually proven studies that children will actually die if they don't get any love, get any oxy when they're born. Have I studied that? I don't know. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I know I've heard that. And even with me, they were like, Ed, you got to be ready to have him spend some time with you, on you. And that is oxy. That also comes um, when you're actually, doing things for others, and you're having fulfillment in the world, and you have community, and you're having a place, a role. This is how true fulfillment is achieved. Not, notice I didn't say this child wants more money when he gets born. He wants a car when he gets born. He wants a status symbol when he gets, or she. They don't want that. They want love. They want time. They want relationship, right? And so that's the message that we really have to understand, that we want people to really be in a space where they either love what they do, or they love what they do with the money they make it somewhere that they may not love, but they're able to focus on creating a new way to create that space. And that's something that I talk about as well. And we have to look at oxy as one of these things that can really shift our state of being, no matter how much money we make, no matter how much. Because if you think about it this way, I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody donated $50 to a cause. So let's just say $100 to a cause. Think about a cause you're passionate about. That mine, I'm passionate about, children and helping in different places. We've helped sponsor some orphanages around the world, and help, locally with mentorship. But what do you think is more valuable? If we donated $50, or we donated 50 hours? What do you think that child is going to remember the most? Right? And you may say 50, you may say, either way, that's for you to decide. But my point is this: when we spend time with people, when we spend time, think about an email. Do you want to email, your son or your daughter or your circle of influence, how you feel about them? Do you want to email, People don't email a eulogy. They deliver it. You have conversations one on one. You talk to people, and this is how, when you're building it. How long does it take? Well, you think about it like this: if you date somebody in one night, do you think you should get married that night? Probably not. You might if you're in Vegas and it's one of those nights. But if you're dating somebody for 7 years and you're not married, then some people might ask the question, "Baby, what's wrong? What's going on?" So we know it can take a little bit longer than a night for a relationship to build the true oxy and that trust level, and it's built over time with gestures and things. Every moment is a time. That's why people say the little things that matter. They're not little, they're triggers of the hugest thing, the most hugest thing, whatever, the biggest thing that can make an impact, which is oxytocin. So I'm on a ramble, I'm ranting, but hopefully this EDSO wheel has helped you all a lot. I do have more information on that that'll be coming through you, in the form of the challenge if you take that up. You're getting another free value. You're getting a lot of free value in my emails, but you're definitely going to get some value in this next video that you're about to watch, right? And don't worry if you don't finish the whole video. I hope you do. You definitely will be getting an email so you can finish it and check it out, because the end is powerful. It had the whole room in tears. I'll tell you, if you watch the next video to the end, I had grown men coming up to me afterwards, just like, man, I gotta go. I got some conversations I gotta have with some people. I got some people I gotta talk to. I got some legacy actions I gotta take. I had the guy that was speaking after me was like, dude, I can't even speak now. Like, you have me really, really, like, thinking about some things that I need to do in my life, like, and taking action. And one guy was like, I'm going to get on a plane literally 2 days after so he can go home and handle some stuff. So, and I'll just give you a hint. My dad was in the audience. Okay, I won't say anything else, but I tell you, I even got a little emotional. But it's a lot of nuggets, right? Even if you're not an emotional person, but I definitely get, it was some serotonin. And when you watch it, see if you can pick out the things that are endorphins, things that are dopamine, things that are serotonin, things that are oxy. I didn't even know I was going to do this until I started doing this video. I'm actually interested to see what you all come up with. But anyway, I've never released this until now, and I hope you all enjoy. And I hope you all get a lot of benefit from this video and just our interaction together. And the moment you stop getting value from me in any of my emails, then unsubscribe. I want you to. I don't want a high unsubscribe rate, because I want to deliver, and I want to be a straight shooter and give you value over and over and over, to where you just love me so much, and we have so much oxy that you just want to join the challenge and be a part of the Legacy Legends movement that I'm creating. Because at the end of the day, my goal is to have testimony after testimonial of people making legacy shift happen. Make some shift happen. Like, Legacy Legends make shift happen. Make shift happen. Did I say that? I might need to edit that. Well, I meant to say, that's a tongue twister. We make shift happen for generations, and I want to invite you to this world of making shift happen by learning more and actually implementing and getting results for you, your family, your circle of influence, now and forever after you're gone. All right? I want this to last beyond me, and that's the goal. So with that being said, this is Emily. Thank you for your time. I humbly appreciate your time, and I'm glad you're watching this whole thing. You came here for a hot second, and you're here for a hot minute. So with that being said, this is Emily signing out. Thank you. God bless, and go make some shift happen. Peace. Watch the video, opt in, check it out, take notes, let me know what you think, share it, tag it, send it to a friend, uncle, family member, spouse, what have you. This is a great thing to watch with a little glass of wine too. But anyway, y'all have a good night or a good evening or a good day or whatever. Bye. All right. Have a good one. Stay blessed.